Ever been the bearer of brutal truth? Hey there, drama lovers. You know that feeling when you're holding on to information that could either save someone or completely destroy their day? Well, buckle up because I've got a story that'll make you squirm in your seat. Picture this. You're the only person who knows exactly why someone's getting the cold shoulder from their entire family. And then, bam, they come to you asking what's going on. Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place. I'm no gladiator, but I've definitely been the bearer of brutal truth at times. You know, the kind of truth where you're about to receive a serious dose of reality check and a side of tough love. It's like being the bearers of rain on a wedding day, minus the wedding dress drama. Ever told a friend why their haircut looks like they stuck their finger in a socket? Or how about explaining to a sibling why their amazing dance move will never see the light of day? Yeah, I've been there, done that, and have the scar tissue to prove it. As the keeper of the Bad News Club, I've learned that a dash of humor can make even the most brutal truths a bit more palatable. Like the time I told my friend that their fantasy football team was more fantasy, less football. It was a hard pill to swallow, but we both ended up laughing about it. Well, I laughed. They just pretended to. Being the bearer of brutal truth can be a thankless job, but someone's got to do it. And if I've learned one thing, it's laughter can be the best medicine, even for a reality check overdose. So here's the tea. A few years ago, I met my boyfriend's cousin, let's call him Fred. Now, when I first met him, I got that immediate gut feeling. You know, the one where your internal voice goes, "Oh boy, this is going to be interesting." My boyfriend even warned me, saying, "Yeah, Fred's a lot of fun, but he can be a bit much." Fast forward to last year, and we moved to my boyfriend's hometown. Coincidentally, Fred also moved here for work. At first, it was all sunshine and rainbows. The family was super excited to have this long-lost cousin around, inviting him to everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Game nights, Sunday brunches, random Tuesday pizza gatherings, you name it. But then something started happening. The invites began disappearing, like magic, but not the fun kind. And here's where it gets awkward. Fred slid into my DMs asking why he's being left out. He picked me because, get this, he sees me as another outsider. Oh, the irony. I never thought I'd be the person to wade into a family drama, let alone become the unwitting catalyst for a full-blown conflict. But life has a way of throwing curveballs, and this one landed squarely on my doorstep. My aunt, my mom's sister, was notoriously petty and manipulative. She'd always been a bit of a villain in my family's eyes, but I'd never felt the brunt of her wrath. That was until I moved back home after college and became the default target for her passive-aggressive behavior. It all started when I decided to join a weekly book club at our local library. My aunt, being the self-proclaimed grammar police, had a flair for excoriating anyone who dared to critique her writing, or as she put it, attempt to rewrite the dictionary. When she found out I joined the club, she saw an opportunity to claim the title of book club queen and began insisting that she be the one to lead the discussions. The problem was, no one else wanted to be led by her. Their tactful way of saying no involved passing the facilitation duties to someone else. My aunt took this as a personal affront and, with her signature dramatic flair, declared that she was being excluded from the group. Fast forward to the next family gathering, where she confronted me about the whole situation. "Why did you join this book club?" she demanded, her voice brimming with indignation. "You're not even a real reader." In that moment, something inside me snapped. I realized that my aunt's behavior was no longer just passive-aggressive, it was actively toxic. So I decided to do something I never thought I'd do: tell the truth. Here's how it went down. "Look, Aunt Her Name, I get that you're upset, but you're not being excluded. The group invited you to lead a discussion, and you declined. That's not the same thing as being excluded. If you want to join the book club, you can just show up next time and participate like everyone else." Let me paint you a picture of our dear Fred. This man proudly calls himself fierce, and let me tell you, that's putting it mildly. Imagine someone who treats every family gathering like it's spring break in Cancun. Every single time. "Oh, you're ordering a glass of water? Boring. Let's do tequila shots. What do you mean you don't want to do karaoke? It's only 2 p.m. on a Sunday." Why are you all sitting and talking? We need to dance. The family, bless their introverted hearts, is more like, can we just play Scrabble and eat chips in peace? Here's the thing about being fierce. It's great when you're at a club or hosting a party. But when you're with a family of introverts who just want to chill and maybe discuss the latest episode of their favorite show, not so much. The family started doing this dance, you know, the one where they'd invite him to big events like Thanksgiving and weddings, because, well, you kind of have to. But suddenly mysterious scheduling conflicts for smaller gatherings. And let me tell you, this family does a lot together. Like, we have a group chat that pings every 5 minutes a lot. The pros of telling Fred the truth, he might actually self-reflect and grow. The awkwardness could finally end. I'd feel less guilty about keeping secrets. The cons, he might completely flip out. Family dynamics could get even more complicated. He could label me as the mean outsider who turned everyone against him. Let's face it, we've all been there. You know, the life of the party, the center of attention, or just plain overbearing. There's a fine line between being lovable and being tiresome. When it comes to family dynamics, this delicate balance can be particularly tricky to navigate. I used to be that person, the one who always had to share her thoughts, opinions, and 2 cents on every topic under the sun. My loved ones lovingly referred to me as a drama magnet, and honestly, it was a badge of honor. However, as time went on, I started to notice that my exuberance was, well, starting to wear thin. It wasn't until my mom sat me down and said, "Honey, you're being a bit much," that I realized I had a tendency to be more than a little overwhelming. I think we've all been guilty of this at some point or another. We're just so excited to share our ideas and experiences, we forget that others might not be as eager to listen. The thing is, being too much isn't always about being the life of the party. It can also be about being persistent, opinionated, or even emotional. It's about recognizing when your enthusiasm has crossed over into exasperation territory. It's funny because sometimes I catch myself thinking, but wait, isn't being enthusiastic and engaged a good thing? And the answer is yes, it absolutely is. However, when it starts to become distracting or upsetting to those around you, it's time to dial it back a notch, or 5. So how do you know when you're being too much? Well, for starters, if your loved ones are frequently using phrases like, "It's okay, sweetie," "We get it," or "Let's talk about this later," it might be time to take a step back and assess your behavior. If you find yourself consistently being the center of attention, or if your enthusiasm is starting to wane, it could be a sign that you need to make some adjustments. It's not about suppressing your personality or stifling your enthusiasm. It's about finding that sweet spot where you're engaged and inspiring, rather than overwhelming or overbearing. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if I'm just me? What if being too much is just part of who I am? And to that I say, bless your heart. More often than not, being authentic and vulnerable is exactly what the world needs, but in moderation, of course. So if you're guilty of being too much like I was, don't worry. You're certainly not alone. The truth is, it's okay to be exuberant, but it's also okay to take a step back and regroup. Remember, it's all about finding that delicate balance between being engaging and being tolerable. So what did I decide to do? Well, after careful consideration and maybe a glass of wine or two, I decided to be honest with Fred. But here's the twist. I approached it from a place of caring rather than criticism. I told him that sometimes his energy can be overwhelming for people who prefer quieter gatherings, and that finding a balance between being yourself and reading the room is key. Did it go perfectly? Let's just say there's probably another video coming about that conversation. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below if you've ever dealt with someone who was too much for your family. How did you handle it? Did you tell them the truth or keep the peace? Don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you want more stories about navigating family drama and moral dilemmas. Trust me, with this family there's plenty more where that came from. And if you're dealing with similar family situations, check out my video on how to deal with toxic family members, link in the description below. Because sometimes the truth hurts, but lying hurts even more. Until next time, keep it real, but maybe not too real. Peace out.
Ever been too nice? Here's what happened when I stopped. Hey everyone, you know that feeling when you're being super nice to someone, and they just stab you right in the back? Well, grab your controllers and get comfortable, because today's story is wild. I'm about to tell you how I went from being the ultimate nice guy to absolutely destroying a 12-year-old at Call of Duty. And trust me, there's a good reason why. Before we dive in, let me paint the picture for you. So, I've been dating this amazing girl for a while now, and part of the package deal was her 12-year-old brother. You know how it goes. When you're trying to win over the family, you do what you gotta do. For me, that meant regular gaming sessions with the kid, mainly Call of Duty. Now, I'm actually pretty decent at COD. I've been playing since the original Modern Warfare, but whenever I played with him, I'd purposely miss shots, make rookie mistakes, and basically let him win. I wanted to be the cool older guy, you know? The one who makes him feel good about his gaming skills. But oh boy, did that backfire in the most spectacular way possible. I never thought I'd be writing about the time I punked my girlfriend's brother at a game. But here we are. It all started when he accidentally beat me in Super Mario Bros. Don't even get me started on the terrible accuracy of that jump. I smiled, said nice job, and let him think he'd somehow managed to outmaneuver the superior gamer that is me. Fast forward to our next gaming session, when we decided to play The Legend of Zelda. Anybody can beat Super Mario Bros., but if you can conquer Hyrule, now that's a feat worthy of recognition. My girlfriend's brother was determined to redeem himself, but I, being the gracious loser I pretend to be, decided to let him win, or so he thought. As we progressed through the game, I noticed he was getting more and more frustrated with the occasional tough enemy or obstacle. That's when I decided to put my money where my mouth was, or rather, in the console. I could have easily let him win, but where's the fun in that? I had to take things up a notch. The trash talk began, and gaming wars broke out. I started to excel at the game, beating challenging levels with ease while my opponent grew increasingly desperate. And then it happened. A level no one can master, the infamous Aghanim battle. Out of desperation, my girlfriend's brother thought he'd exploit every trick in the book. But little did he know, I had an ace up my sleeve. Skill, which I pretended I wasn't using, and gaming charm, aka. I love manipulating others, played out in the most beautiful way possible. With every completion, the trash talk turned louder, and in a finale that still echoes in the corridors of the gaming world, I beat my girlfriend's brother at his own game. Tears of defeat were shed, and I didn't really gloat much. But in hindsight, who wouldn't be thrilled about outsmarting someone you're stuck playing games with? Perhaps stuck is a bit harsh. It's all in good fun until someone loses miserably. For months, I was the ultimate gaming buddy. I'd visit my girlfriend's house, and every single time, we'd play a few rounds of Call of Duty or whatever game she kids wanted to play. I'd act impressed when he got kills, hype him up when he won, and basically just tried to be the ultimate nice guy. I even bought him some COD points for his birthday. Yeah, that's right, I'm a shining example of a good boyfriend. But the thing was, I wasn't lying about it. I genuinely loved playing games with him, and I loved seeing the joy on his face when he finally beat that one level he'd been stuck on for weeks. I thought I was being a cool, older guy, teaching him the ropes, and making him feel like he was part of the in-crowd, aka me and my gaming skills. We had some epic gaming moments together. Montages would be a great way to show them off. If someone had told me then that I'd be writing about this someday, and the reason I was doing it was because we got into a gaming war, that's still hard to believe. Let's be real, being the ultimate nice guy has its perks. You get respect, sometimes free gifts, and an all-around good reputation, especially among the kids. Who wouldn't want that? So, I'm walking into the kitchen, or maybe it's the living room, who cares, right? When I hear some suspicious chatter, I sneak a listen, and my blood starts to boil. I mean, I'm the nice guy here, the one who lets the kid win, buys him gifts, and plays games with him for hours on end just to see a smile on his face. And what does he do? He takes all that and decides to diss me to his friends. I'm not even talking about just regular old trash talk. We're talking about full-on, dirty name calling. I mean, I've heard some harsh words before, but mentally disabled for not being a pro gamer? Maybe I am disabled, but only when it comes to not beating the kid at Call of Duty. But here's the thing, he takes it to a whole new level. He starts bashing not only my gaming skills, but also my girlfriend, the lovely woman who's been putting up with our little gaming sessions and all. I mean, I get that I'm not the most tech-savvy guy, and COD can be a mean game, But when you bring your sister into it, that's when things get personal. That's like me making fun of her cooking skills or her cute cat memes on the internet. Just not cool, kid. Now, I could have just chatted about this with my girlfriend, maybe had a grown-up conversation about boundaries and what's acceptable. But nope, not me. I had to take the high road, or rather, the gaming road. I storm into the room, if you can call it a storm. It was more like a quietly confident stride, and say, "Hey buddy, you want to play some COD?" Little did he know what was coming. That's when something in me snapped. You can make fun of my gaming skills all day long, but bringing my girlfriend into it? That crossed a line. So I walked in there, all casual, and said, "Hey buddy, want to play some Call of Duty?" The way his friends were snickering in the background. They thought they were about to witness another comedy show. Let me tell you something. There's nothing quite like the feeling of unleashing your full gaming potential after months of holding back. Every headshot, every perfect grenade throw, every tactical move I'd been suppressing, I let it all out. You know that feeling when you've been holding back a giant, steamrolling, atomic fart-sized secret just dying to be unleashed? Well, that was me, storming into the living room and proclaiming, "Hey buddy, want to play some Call of Duty?" My girlfriend's brother, now nicknamed Brother Dearest, thought he was in for another cakewalk. Another easy ride where I, the benevolent gaming master, would gift him with a comfy victory. Little did he know, I had been quietly seething in the depths of my soul, plotting my revenge with the passion of a scorned gamer. You see, my girlfriend's brother had crossed a line. We're not just talking about your run-of-the-mill trash talk. We're talking about dirty, underhanded, brother eating my lunch type insults. His insults were so egregious, so flagrantly uncalled for, that I was taken aback, reeling from the sheer audacity. The setup was ready, the stage was set, and the audience was waiting with bated breath. My gaming settings were expertly prepped. I could have fitted a decent-sized hamster in that room without hitting my controller. It was about to get ugly. We're talking game on, child. The war drums were beating, and it was just a matter of time before I unleashed the beast. I called out his name, Brother Dearest, again, like the gauntlet had been thrown, and the look on his face was poetry in motion. All those hours of playing nice, of building up his confidence, it was all about to come crashing down like a virtual metropolis shot to pieces by a ragtag team of pixelated vigilantes. But little did he know, this was my moment, the minute I'd been waiting for. No mercy, no regret. I was in for the win. No holds barred, no game on, just pure, unadulterated gaming bliss. This was my show now, my bro. With me at the reins, surge music plays. I took a deep breath, adjusted my virtual glasses, cracked my knuckles. I had to, trust me on this one. Squared off against Brother Dearest, our consoles ready for total digital showdown. What a sweet, sweet victory. I mean, who needs a trophy or a nice pair of socks when you can walk away with a 30-2 score and a kid who's on the verge of tears? As I looked at the scoreboard, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride, like I'd just won a championship or something. Before I could even say good game, he threw his controller down and stormed off to his room, on the verge of tears. His friends just sat there, mouths open, probably questioning everything they'd been told about me. But of course, that feeling was short-lived. My girlfriend, bless her heart, just wouldn't let it go. She was there, standing in the living room, arms crossed, looking like she'd just sucked on a lemon. "You deliberately made him cry," she said, shaking her head. "That's not cool. Now, I know what you're thinking. Girlfriend is right. And honestly, I probably was a bit harsh. But come on, she dissed my gaming skills and, by extension, my entire being. You can't just walk all over someone like that without expecting a little pushback. Anyway, after my sweet victory, I got a lecture from my girlfriend that lasted longer than a COD match. "You need to be more considerate," she said. "Not everyone can be as good as you." Yeah, I heard you the first time. But deep down, I know she was right. I mean, that whole sticking it to the kid thing wasn't exactly the most sportsmanlike thing to do. But hey, at least I got a good story out of it, right? Now, where do I even begin with this one? My girlfriend was not happy, I'm talking. Not happy, and I thought had to stay quiet on the couch, rubber so far up her backside, levels of unhappy. In the car, she gave me the lecture of the century, and I'm pretty sure I heard a few mentions of being a decent human being and using your inside voice. Personal aside, when did inside voices become a thing? Just me. But here's the thing, and I'm going to say this with a completely straight face. I didn't mean to make my girlfriend's brother cry. I just got caught up in the whole game face thing. And well, I let emotions get the better of me. It's not like I woke up that morning with a plan to destroy a 12-year-old's fragile ego. However, as my girlfriend pointed out, and she was 100% right, being a kid doesn't give you a free pass to disrespect people. It's like I always say, if you're gonna trash talk someone's gaming skills, be prepared for a beatdown. The thing is, I've been in the girlfriend's brother's shoes before. I mean, who hasn't had someone trash talk them at a game? It's not exactly the most original or sporting thing to do. But what's even worse is when that trash talking turns into insult flinging. I mean, come on, if you can't take a little trash talking, then maybe you shouldn't be playing a game where there's an element of competition, or are you just not very good at it? So, to answer the question that's probably on every single one of your minds, was I wrong for teaching the kid a lesson? The answer to that is maybe, but only if you ask my girlfriend, who's now avoiding me like the plague and making me sleep on the couch. On a more serious note, though, it made me realize that when it comes down to it, being a decent person, or at least a decent gamer, means being able to walk away from a game without taking it too seriously. And that means not letting your emotions get the best of you, unless you're in a frag, first-person shooter game, in which case, please, by all means, let your emotions run wild and get your virtual vengeance. So, what do you think? Was I wrong for teaching this kid a lesson? Should I have just kept letting him win? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to hear your takes on this one. If you've dealt with similar situations, maybe with siblings, cousins, or just bratty kids in general, share your stories. Trust me, I'll be reading them all. And hey, if you enjoyed this dose of real-life drama mixed with gaming, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Next week, I'll be sharing what went down when I had to face his parents. And let me tell you, that's a whole other level of awkward. Check out my previous video about relationship drama right here. It's even crazier than this one, if you can believe it. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, keep gaming, and maybe don't let the kids win. Or do. I'm still figuring that one out.
The holiday gift heist that will make your jaw drop. You guys, you are not going to believe what just happened. Picture this. You spend weeks planning the perfect Christmas surprise for your kid, picking out that one special gift they've been dreaming about all year, and then, boom. Your mother-in-law swoops in like a holiday ninja and completely steals your thunder. If you've ever had someone stomp all over your boundaries during the holidays, grab your popcorn because this story is about to make your jaw hit the floor. I'm still reeling from the shock of it all. My mother-in-law stealing my gift and leaving me super hurt. It's a holiday miracle turned minefield, and I'm not sure where to even begin. As I recall the events leading up to the great gift heist, I remember spending hours picking out the perfect present for my loved one. I chose something thoughtful, something special, a luxury watch that I knew they'd treasure for years to come. Meanwhile, my in-laws were coming over for the holidays, and I was looking forward to a relaxing day with my family. That's when things took a turn for the unexpected. My mother-in-law showed up early, armed with a few of her own gifts. And let's just say she had a peculiar fascination with the box I had been hiding under the tree. Next thing I know, she's snatching the box from under the tree, telling me that she wants to help with the gift-giving process. I'm left standing there, wondering if I'd somehow imagined the entire ordeal, or if this was indeed theft. My mind is racing with questions. Did she genuinely think she could get away with it? Was she trying to one-up me for the holiday? The surreal moment is still etched in my memory, watching as she opened the box, revealing my beautifully wrapped gift, and breaking it open with a sense of satisfaction. It was like a punch to the gut, leaving me gasping for air. Looking back, I wish I'd said something sooner, called her out on her gift-giving sabotage. But in that moment, I was too stunned, unsure how to react. Now, as the wounds still feel raw, I'm left to pick up the pieces and ponder a very difficult question. Am I wrong to be hurt here? Hey there, my amazing viewers. Today we're diving into a Christmas shopping nightmare that has me seriously questioning my sanity and everything I thought I knew about family dynamics. Let me set the scene for you. It all started with what was supposed to be a simple shopping trip with my mother-in-law of 15 years. You know, the kind of trip where you help each other pick out presents and spread some holiday cheer? Oh, how naive I was. First, you need to know a little bit about my mother-in-law. Picture the queen of casino merchandise. You know those people who collect every single prize from slot machines like they're precious gems? That's her. And apparently, she's also the master of stealing Christmas thunder. But we'll get to that juicy part in a minute. What started as a helpful shopping expedition to find gifts for my 9-year-old son somehow spiraled into the most bizarre gift-stealing situation I've ever experienced. And here's the kicker. My husband thinks I'm overreacting. Spoiler alert, I'm definitely not. As I walk through the bustling mall on this frenzied holiday season, my excitement for Christmas shopping quickly turns into a surreal nightmare. It starts with my mother-in-law, Judy, who's been pushing her shopping cart aggressively, dashing through crowds and making a beeline for the checkout lines. We've been together as a family for years, and I thought I knew her quirks, but little did I know that today would be a day to test my patience. As I find my way through the packed toy section, I carefully select a thoughtful gift for my partner's mother, a beautiful handmade necklace that I think will bring a smile to her face. I double-check my list to ensure I haven't missed any important details. With the gift securely wrapped in a festive holiday paper, I head to the final checkout line, anxiously waiting for Judy to be done with her purchase. To my dismay, I spot Judy with the same handmade necklace in our hands-free bag, a gift-wrapped present with my partner's name scribbled on it, carelessly tossed alongside. As I approach them, my heart sinks. She's been outshining me by buying the exact same gift I was planning to give her. The realization hits me like a ton of bricks as I look at the thoughtless gift tag and the uncanny resemblance to the one I wanted to give her. The once cheerful atmosphere that filled the mall vanishes in an instant as I grapple with the awkward feelings that leave me questioning the thoughtfulness of family, integrity in gift-giving, and, most of all, whether Judy might be as considerate of others as I initially thought. Act 1, the cart raider. So there we are at the store, and my mother-in-law transforms into this shopping cart ninja right before my eyes. I'm not even exaggerating, you guys. Every time I put something in my cart, yoink! She'd snatch it faster than a Black Friday shopper, grabbing the last TV. Picture me, trying to be the polite daughter-in-law while she's literally taking things out of my cart like it's some kind of reverse gift-giving situation. I'm standing there, watching my carefully chosen items disappear one by one, thinking, is this really happening right now? I even tried dropping this subtle hint, and by subtle, I mean about as subtle as a foghorn, saying, if you keep taking all the stuff I'm gonna buy, Santa's gonna suck this year. You guys, it went right over her head. She didn't even flinch. As I stood there, navigating through the crowded store with my carefully selected items in my cart, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and excitement. I was on a mission to find the perfect gifts for my loved ones, and I was so close to completing my list. That's when my mother-in-law, Judy, swooped in like a shopping ninja, snatching items from my cart with a speed and stealth that left me frozen in shock. I'd like to think I'm a fairly calm and collected person, but witnessing Judy's cart raiding skills firsthand was enough to push me to my limits. Every time I placed an item in my cart, she'd swoop in and snatch it, leaving me feeling like I was in a game of retail tag. It was as if she had a radar system locked onto my cart, always one step ahead of me. At first, I thought maybe Judy was just trying to help, or perhaps she was simply excitable about the holiday season. But as the situation continued to escalate, I realized that she was, in fact, deliberately trying to take items from my cart. I even caught her laughing to herself as she grabbed the last item of the bunch. It was like watching a master thief in action. As the minutes ticked by, I found myself growing increasingly frustrated and defeated. My carefully laid plans for gift-giving were slowly unraveling, and I was powerless to stop it. I began to wonder if Judy was intentionally trying to sabotage my efforts, or if she simply had a short attention span and couldn't focus on anything for more than a few seconds. Despite my growing annoyance, I tried to remain polite and composed, hoping that Judy would eventually tire of her cart-raiding antics and leave me alone. But it seemed like the more I tried to reason with her, the more she dug her heels in, determined to outdo me in the gift-giving stakes. As I stood there, watching my cart being gradually emptied by Judy's lightning-fast reflexes, I couldn't help but think that this was a crucial turning point in our holiday shopping experience. Would I emerge victorious with a successful shopping trip and a sense of satisfaction? Or would Judy's cart rating skills prove to be my downfall? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain. The next few minutes were going to be a wild ride. Act 2, the camera conspiracy. Now here comes the real plot twist. We head to Best Buy because I needed to get my daughter her big gift, this awesome vlogging camera she's been dreaming about. It was literally #1 on her Christmas list, and I was so excited to see her face on Christmas morning. But then my mother-in-law hits me with this gem.
Oh, I have some cameras at home from the casino. I think...
And I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. I made it crystal clear that this was going to be the special gift from us. I mean, I couldn't have been more obvious if I'd hired a skywriter. I walked into my living room expecting to see my gift still wrapped elegantly on the coffee table, but instead it was gone. I felt a twinge of guilt. Maybe I had indeed left it in my bedroom, but then I remembered distinctly positioning it there. The feeling of unease crept over me as I replayed the events of the previous evening. My mother-in-law had stayed over, as was her custom on certain nights of the week. We had a strained relationship, to say the least, but we managed to put on a facade for the sake of our family. Her behavior had always been a bit erratic, and I often found myself on edge around her. As I continued to rack my brain, trying to piece together the events of the previous night, my eyes landed on the security camera, Weathered's placement in the living room. We had installed it a few months ago after a string of burglaries in our neighborhood, but its purpose went beyond just security. It was also a panopticon, providing me with an eerie feeling of being watched at all times. The camera was positioned in such a way that it could record clear footage of the coffee table area. I sprinted to the corner of my house to check the security feed. The playback revealed my mother-in-law entering the room, attempting to discreetly remove the gift from the table. It was as if she thought she was the only one watching. My trust had been shattered, and I couldn't shake off the feeling that she had been secretly manipulating events all along. A mix of anger and hurt washed over me as I realized that the entire time I thought it was just a misunderstanding between my in-laws. It seemed that there was more to it, and my gift had become a pawn in a game of family politics. As I sat in stunned silence, staring at the footage of my mother-in-law's deceitful act, I couldn't help but feel like I had been blind to the true nature of our family dynamics. Act 3, the big reveal. Fast forward 2 days. My daughter comes home from staying overnight at Grandma's, practically bouncing off the walls with excitement. Mom, brother has 7 presents under the tree. I have 6, and Nana got me a vlogging camera. I'm standing there, completely frozen, like someone just told me Santa isn't real. And then comes the cherry on top. But we need your help with the memory card, Mom. I was speechless. My heart sank as I stared at the box on the dining room table. Its contents leaked out onto the tablecloth. The gift I had so lovingly and carefully picked out for my mother-in-law was now scattered in a mess of wrappers, tissue, and shattered glass. I had given my husband a stern warning the night before, telling him that I was expecting to see my gift in its original condition when we arrived for Christmas dinner. But now, all that remained was a mangled mess of what was once something special. I couldn't bear to look directly at my mother-in-law, but I knew I couldn't avoid the conversation forever. I exchanged a tense glance with my husband before I finally spoke up, my voice shaking with anger and pain. Can someone please explain to me what happened to my gift? I demanded, trying to keep my emotions in check. You guys, I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. So I did what any rational person would do. I texted her asking why on earth she thought this was okay. Her response? It's a kid's toy. As if that makes it any better. And my husband? Oh, sweet, oblivious husband of mine. He doesn't understand why I have an issue. I can't even. So what do you think? Am I wrong here? Because I'm pretty sure stealing someone's planned Christmas gift is definitely on the naughty list. I mean, who does that? As I reflect on the incident, I realize that I've had enough of letting my emotions simmer in the background. It's time for me to confront the truth and have an open, honest conversation with my partner and mother-in-law. The pain and hurt I've been feeling for so long deserve to be acknowledged, and I'm determined to get to the bottom of this disrespectful behavior. I know that confrontation can be difficult, but I believe it's essential to address this issue head-on. By doing so, we can clear the air and create a more positive, healthy dynamic within our family. It's time to rise above the noise, find common ground, and move forward in a way that brings us all closer together. Moving forward, I'm committed to maintaining a calm and empathetic attitude, even in the face of adversity. I want to create a safe space where honest communication can thrive, and we can work through our differences with kindness and understanding. It's not about winning or losing, it's about finding a resolution that works for everyone involved. By choosing love, respect, and compassion, we can put this family drama behind us and start writing a new chapter in our lives, one that's filled with love, support, and understanding. Drop your wildest mother-in-law stories in the comments below. I know you've got them. Help me feel less alone in this holiday chaos. And if you think this story was wild, just wait until you hear about the time she reorganized my entire kitchen without asking. That video is linked right up here. If you enjoyed this Family Drama Fest, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. Trust me, with my mile, there's plenty more where this came from. And hey, ring that notification bell because next week, we're diving into the aftermath of this Christmas chaos. And let me tell you, it gets even better. Until next time, keep your shopping carts close and your planned presents closer. See you in the next video.
The most epic IT fail that ruined Christmas break. Picture this. You're sitting in your office on a Friday afternoon, feeling pretty good about yourself after making what you thought was a simple computer setting change. Then suddenly, your screen goes black. You wiggle the mouse, it comes back on, and then black again. That's when it hits you. You've just accidentally set every single company laptop to shut down every 15 seconds when unplugged. And the best part, it's right before Christmas break. That's exactly what happened to me yesterday, and now I'm hiding in my office, hoping nobody notices before I can fix it. But spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure I'm totally screwed. Hey tech warriors, I'm your friendly neighborhood IT system administrator who just learned the hard way that seconds and minutes are very, very different things in group policy. And boy, do I have a story for you. Let me set the scene. It's a regular Friday at the office. The holiday spirit is in the air. People are wrapping up their work before Christmas break, and I'm feeling particularly productive. So I think to myself, hey, why not finally tackle those laptop power settings everyone's been complaining about? I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Spoiler alert, everything. Everything went wrong. And now I'm sitting here, watching my own laptop screen go black every 15 seconds, wondering how many of our employees took their laptops home for the holidays. But before we dive into this beautiful disaster, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Because if you work in IT, trust me, you'll want to learn from my mistakes instead of making them yourself. I lost track of time, a cautionary tale. As I looked around the empty office, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The silence was deafening, a stark contrast to the usual buzz of activity that filled the halls. But it was only when I received the first call from an annoyed employee that I realized my worst fear had come true. Every laptop in the company had gone to sleep, and it was the eve of Christmas. I had made a careless mistake earlier that week when I was setting up a new group policy to conserve battery life. In my haste, I had accidentally set the timer to activate prematurely, and now I was facing the consequences. As I frantically tried to rectify the situation, I realized the full extent of my error. We had no backup power sources to charge the laptops, and our remote teams were stuck without a reliable way to work. The rest of the day descended into chaos as employees scrambled to find alternative solutions, but it was a snowball effect. The more I tried to fix the issue, the more problems I created. The usually patient IT team was now on the verge of a meltdown, and I could sense the office morale plummeting with each passing minute. What had started as a small, seemingly insignificant mistake had evolved into a full-blown holiday nightmare that threatened to ruin the festive spirit of our employees. As I looked around the darkening office, I couldn't help but wonder how something so simple had snowballed into a disaster of epic proportions. All right, let me walk you through my thought process as a newbie to group policy. You see, people had been complaining about the default Windows sleep timer for weeks. Some said their laptops were staying awake too long. Others said they were sleeping too quickly. And I thought, hey, I'll be the hero who fixes this once and for all. So there I was, navigating through group policy management like a kid in a candy store. I found this innocent-looking field, just a simple number input with timer written next to it. No units specified, nothing scary looking. And my brain, in all its Friday afternoon wisdom, went 15 minutes sounds reasonable for battery saving, right? Fast forward to about an hour later. I'm trying to read an important email on my laptop, which I'd unplugged to test the settings. Suddenly, the screen goes black. Weird, but okay. I move the mouse, it comes back. Then black again. And again. And again. Like some kind of twisted game of peekaboo with my computer. That's when the horrifying realization hit me. The field wasn't in minutes. It was in seconds. I had just set every single company laptop to go to sleep after 15 seconds of battery use. Not 15 minutes. Not 15 hours. 15. Freaking. Seconds. Now picture this. Our employees, sitting at home during Christmas break, maybe trying to catch up on some work while watching holiday movies. They unplug their laptops to get cozy on the couch, and bam, screen goes dark. They wake it up. Bam, dark again. It's like some kind of corporate disco party that nobody asked for. The worst part, the group policy has already synced to who knows how many laptops. It's like a time bomb of minor inconvenience spreading through our company network. Every time someone logs in, their laptop gets the update. It's probably already reached half the company by now. And here's the real kicker. I haven't sent out a company-wide notice yet. I mean, what am I supposed to say? Hey everyone, Merry Christmas. By the way, I turned your laptops into strobe lights. Sorry about that. I'm just sitting here, watching my screen flicker like a broken Christmas light, wondering if I should warn everyone or just hide until January. Pro tip, always check the units in group policy. And maybe, just maybe, don't make major changes right before a holiday break. Learn from my pain, folks. I still recall the day I decided to set a simple power setting on our company's laptops. It was a quiet Tuesday morning before the Christmas break, and I thought it would be a good idea to conserve battery life. Little did I know, this small adjustment would trigger a perfect storm of chaos across the entire company. In retrospect, I should have paid closer attention to the implementation's implications. Setting the laptops to go to sleep after just 15 seconds on battery seemed reasonable at the time, but it would prove to be a recipe for disaster. Our employees rely heavily on their laptops for work, and this drastic change left many scrambling to find solutions. As the system went into effect, our IT department was inundated with frantic calls from employees struggling to get their work done. They couldn't access critical programs, and files were becoming inaccessible due to the short sleep periods. It was only a matter of time before the situation spiraled out of control. The lack of prep work and communication from my end made the problem worse. I had expected the power setting to be a simple adjustment, but it turned out to be a complex issue that was challenging to resolve. Many employees were left frustrated, and some even resorted to using their personal devices to get work done, which, of course, introduced new security risks. In the end, it took an all-hands-on-deck effort from the IT department to mitigate the situation. They worked tirelessly to configure alternative power settings, but not before several employees had lost crucial work and faced significant disruptions to their workflow. As I reflect on that experience, I've come to realize that even the most seemingly inconspicuous changes can have far-reaching consequences. It's a valuable lesson that I'll carry forward as I navigate future changes within the company. So there you have it, my epic group policy fail that's probably ruining someone's holiday Netflix binge on their work laptop right now. I'd like to say I've learned my lesson, but honestly, I'm still in the middle of this beautiful disaster. If you're wondering about the aftermath of this spectacular mess, hit that subscribe button because there's definitely going to be a part 2 when everyone returns to work in January. Trust me, you won't want to miss the inevitable flood of angry emails and confused support tickets. Hit that notification bell too. I've got plenty more IT horror stories to share, and trust me, they're all equally entertaining and educational. Though I have to admit, it's going to be hard to top the great 15-second sleep disaster of Christmas 2024. And hey, while you're here, check out my How to Actually Configure Group Policy video right here. It's everything I wish I'd known before this disaster. And yes, I made it after this incident. Nothing teaches quite like complete and utter failure. Don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your biggest tech fail. Make me feel better about my 15-second nightmare. And remember, if you ever think you're having a bad day at work, at least you didn't force your entire company to play an unwanted game of laptop peekaboo during Christmas break.
When personal space gets way too personal. You guys, have I got a story for you? Picture this. I'm just chilling at a bar with my friends, having what I thought was going to be a normal night out, when suddenly, and I mean completely out of nowhere, I feel two hands grab my shoulders from behind. And then get this, some stranger starts whispering philosophical nonsense in my ear about staying youthful or whatever. Like, excuse me, what timeline am I in right now? If you've ever had one of those moments where reality feels like it's glitching, stick around, because today we're diving deep into a wild story about personal boundaries, weird bar encounters, and the absolutely chaotic art of saying, "Please don't touch me," to complete strangers. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Am I Wrong Here, your favorite place to break down those bizarre social situations that make you question everything. If you're new here, this is where we dive into those weird life moments that leave us all wondering, did that really just happen? So let me paint the picture for you. I'm at this bar with my friends, right? We're having this private conversation. You know, the kind where you're kind of huddled together, speaking in low voices, because it's definitely not for everyone's ears. Pretty normal stuff, right? Wrong, because apparently, this was the night the universe decided to test my patience and my personal space boundaries all at once. But before we get into this wild ride, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our amazing community of people who love dissecting these crazy social situations. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. I'll never forget the Saturday night I found myself in the middle of a crowded bar, sipping on a cold beer and enjoying the music. I had been at the bar for a few hours and things were starting to wind down. I was standing near the dance floor observing the crowd when suddenly I felt someone brush by me. At first, I brushed it off, thinking it was just an accident. But then, it happened again. A stranger had gotten a little too close and was lightly touching my arm as they reached for the bar to order another drink. I felt a shiver run down my spine and my senses went on high alert. I turned to see who it was, and our eyes met for a brief moment before they quickly looked away. What the stranger didn't realize was that I was still standing there, frozen in uncertainty. I didn't know how to react, whether to talk to them about it or just ignore the situation altogether. That's when I found myself asking the very question that I'm still thinking about today. Am I wrong for asking a stranger why they were touching me? From that moment on, I couldn't shake off the feeling that I had somehow overreacted. Was I being paranoid, or was there something legitimate to the situation? I decided to take a step back, assess what just happened, and reevaluate my behavior in that moment. Okay, so there I am, mid-conversation with my friends, when suddenly, and I cannot stress enough how unexpected this was, I feel these hands on my shoulders. Not a tap, not a light touch, but a full-on shoulder grab. And then, as if that wasn't weird enough, this complete stranger leans in and whispers some pseudo-profound wisdom about staying youthful and feeling free. I'm sorry, but did I accidentally walk onto the set of a badly written self-help movie? Because what in the motivational speaker nonsense was that? Now here's where it gets even better. When I turned around and asked this guy, who by the way was in his 30s while I'm in my 20s, why he thought it was okay to grab me like that, his response was absolutely golden. I don't know. I just saw you looking at me earlier. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that making eye contact once while checking if anyone was eavesdropping on my private conversation was actually a secret invitation for you to channel your inner fortune cookie and grab me from behind. Here's where things get interesting. My friend, bless her heart, suggested that maybe I could have been more gentle in my response. And I get it. We're all conditioned to be nice and polite, especially in social situations. But let's be real for a second. When did we decide that protecting someone else's feelings was more important than protecting our own personal space and safety? Listen, that immediate feeling of discomfort? That's not just random anxiety. That's your personal safety radar working exactly as it should. It's like having a built-in creep detector, and mine was going off like a 4-alarm fire. When your gut tells you something isn't right, you don't owe anyone a gentle response. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you don't want to be touched by strangers. Period. I'll be honest with you guys. Even though I stood up for myself, I felt really weird afterward. That uncomfortable feeling just wouldn't go away, and all I wanted to do was leave. But here's the thing. Feeling awkward after standing up for yourself doesn't mean you did anything wrong. If anything, that discomfort is just proof of how normalized these boundary violations have become in our society, and maybe it's time we changed that. Let's break this down to the absolute basics of social interactions. Want to meet someone new? Great. Start with hello. Interested in a conversation? Awesome. Use your words. Think someone's cute? Cool. Maybe try introducing yourself face to face. Notice how nowhere in that list did I mention surprise, shoulder massages, or whispered fortune cookie wisdom. I'll be the first to admit that navigating social interactions can be overwhelming, especially when you're someone who values respect and boundaries. So here's the thing. Let's keep it simple. If you're interested in getting to know someone, start with a genuine hello, not a shoulder grab or a whispered message. Use your words, engage in conversation, and let the connection happen, naturally. And if you think someone's cute, maybe try introducing yourself face to face instead of relying on surprise moments that leave you feeling uneasy. For me, this encounter was a wake-up call. I realized that my discomfort wasn't just about that one instance, but about the unspoken expectation that I should be okay with being touched by strangers. It's like we're taught to prioritize others' feelings over our own, and that's not okay. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I am saying that standing up for myself and my space was the right thing to do. We live in a world where no is often met with an expectation of explanation. But what if we flipped that script? What if we taught ourselves and others that a clear no is enough, and that our boundaries are respected and protected? It's time to normalize this conversation and make it clear that personal space is not up for debate. When I stood up for myself, I wasn't being aggressive. I was being assertive, and that's a distinction we need to make. It's okay to say no, to set boundaries, and to protect ourselves. It's not about being confrontational or dismissive, it's about taking care of ourselves and expecting the same from others. Let's make that shift, shall we? So, am I wrong here? I certainly don't think so. Having boundaries isn't just okay. It's necessary. And defending those boundaries with confidence? That's not being aggressive, that's being assertive. And there's a huge difference. Now, I know I can't be the only one with stories like this. Drop your own wild encounters in the comments below. Let's create a space where we can all learn from each other's experiences and maybe laugh about them too. If you enjoyed this story time and want to catch more Am I Wrong Here episodes, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Trust me, we've got plenty more stories coming your way. And hey, if you thought this was wild, wait until you see what happened in our latest video about another awkward social situation. Click the card on your screen right now to check it out. Until next time, remember, your personal space is your personal space, and you don't need to apologize for protecting it. See you in the next one.
Am I wrong here for refusing to ban alcohol from Christmas? Take a moment to imagine this. I'm sitting in my house, surrounded by 50 loved ones, the aroma of freshly made tamales wafting through the air. It's one of those rare moments when family, friends, and cultures collide. My wife's Mexican family and my American side blending traditions, memories, and laughter. But what happens when someone walks in and wants to pause the celebration? That's exactly what's happening right now in my life. What's up, everyone? Today, I'm bringing you into my holiday drama that's currently unfolding in real time. If you've ever dealt with family conflicts during the holidays, grab your favorite drink. You'll see why that's ironic in a minute, and settle in. Let me paint you a picture of our usual Christmas celebration. I'm married to this amazing Mexican woman, and our house becomes this incredible melting pot of cultures during the holidays. We're talking Christmas Eve through Christmas Day, with a constant flow of family members coming and going. Seriously, we're talking about 50 people rotating through our house. My wife's family starts showing up on Christmas Eve, bringing these incredible tamales that'll make your mouth water just thinking about them. Then on Christmas Day, my side of the family joins in, and it becomes this beautiful chaos of Mexican and American traditions all mixed together. But here's where things get spicy, and I'm not talking about the salsa. Enter Jenny, my brother Mike's new girlfriend. She's got 3 kids, and well, she's got some demands that are making waves bigger than the time my uncle tried to dance La Macarena after too much eggnog. As I sit here surrounded by the chaos of my holiday drama, I want to welcome you into my living room, and I hope you'll grab your favorite drink. Yes, you heard that right, and settle in for a wild ride. I'm not one to usually share this stuff, but today, I want to bring you into my world and see if you're on the same page as me. When I think about my Christmas celebrations, I'm reminded of my wife, her infectious laugh, and the way our house transforms into a vibrant melting pot of cultures. It's like magic every year, as our family and friends from different walks of life come together and create unforgettable moments. Our Christmas Eve and Christmas Day celebrations are always a whirlwind of activity, but it's precisely that energy that I love. Growing up on one side of the family, I know how traditional Christmas can be. The tree, the lights, the turkey. But my wife's Mexican-American background has introduced me to a world of wonder. I'm talking tamales, salsa, and tequila, all woven together with the kind of warmth and love that makes you feel like you're home. We always say our house is a place where family, friends, and cultures blend in perfect harmony. But now, well, let's just say things have just taken a dramatic turn. Let me tell you about our typical Christmas celebration. It's like this perfect fusion of 2 worlds. We've got pozole sitting next to turkey, people passing around both tequila and eggnog, and somehow it all just works. My wife's family brings their Mexican traditions, complete with piñatas for the kids and midnight celebrations on Christmas Eve. It's loud, it's bustling, and it's absolutely perfect. As someone who's often at the center of lively discussions, I've come to realize that the essence of our gatherings is culture. It's the subtle flavor that elevates our interactions from mundane conversations to unforgettable experiences. When I think of the cultural cocktail, I imagine a symphony of traditions, values, and perspectives that are expertly blended to create a true masterpiece. Growing up, I was fascinated by the way my family would incorporate local customs into our holiday celebrations. From the intricate patterns on our traditional clothing to the tantalizing aromas wafting from the kitchen, every detail was meticulously prepared to pay homage to our cultural heritage. As I grew older, I began to appreciate the significance of these customs in shaping our collective identity. But what I've learned to appreciate even more is the value of representation. It's the act of embracing and celebrating the diverse backgrounds of those around us. Whether it's the vibrant music, the bold flavors, or the unique traditions, each element adds depth and richness to the cultural tapestry. Fusion is at the heart of the cultural cocktail. It's the art of merging seemingly disparate elements to create something entirely new and exciting. By embracing this concept, we're able to tap into the beauty of our differences and create a truly unique experience. Ultimately, the cultural cocktail is more than just a celebration of culture. It's an exercise in empathy, an exploration of our shared humanity, and a testament to the transformative power of connection. When we come together, we create something truly special, a delicious blend of perspectives, values, and traditions that can only be described as magical. So here's where things get complicated. Jenny drops this bombshell that her kids can't be around people who drink. At all. Zero. Nada. Which means she wants our entire 2-day celebration to become completely dry. Now, I'm not saying we're running some kind of wild party here, but come on. I often receive bottles as gifts. My wife enjoys her wine, and it's part of both our cultural celebrations. I still remember the day I dropped the bombshell that shook our family and friends. It was during a festive holiday dinner when I decided to speak up and express my concerns about alcohol at Christmas gatherings. My proposition to ban alcohol from our celebrations sent shockwaves through the room, with everyone caught off guard and caught up in a heated debate. Looking back, I realized that my decision was met with both shock and skepticism by many. I recall one of my relatives, Aunt Emily, questioning my motives and accusing me of being overly zealous about sobriety. Others, like my cousin Alex, saw it as an attempt to ruin the fun and festive atmosphere of the holiday season. At first, I felt isolated and uncertain about my decision. But as the conversation continued and I began to share my reasons, I started to feel more confident and clear about my stance. I explained how the excessive consumption of alcohol had affected some of our loved ones in the past, and how I wanted to create a safer and more considerate environment for everyone. However, the discussion also highlighted the diversity of opinions within our family. While some understood where I was coming from, others passionately argued that alcohol was an essential part of Christmas celebrations and that my proposal would be a Scrooge-like move. As the debate raged on, it became clear that we wouldn't see eye to eye on this issue anytime soon. The alcohol ban bombshell had ignited a fierce debate, but it also sparked a deeper conversation about the values and traditions that bring us together during the holiday season. I was surprised by the strong emotions and opinions that surfaced, and I began to realize that this issue was not just about alcohol, but about our shared experiences, cultural heritage, and personal identities. Oh, but wait, there's more. Let's talk about Santa. In our house, we've taken a pretty relaxed approach to the whole Santa thing. My wife's Mexican Catholic background doesn't really vibe with the whole naughty and nice list situation, so we treat Santa more as a fun Christmas symbol. But Jenny, she's going all in with Elf on the Shelf and the whole Santa production, which would be fine, except she wants us to make sure our kids, who are 5 and 8, and all their cousins play along with her kids, ages 4 to 10, beliefs. I mean, how do you even coordinate that many kids to maintain one family's Santa story? As I sit here thinking about the chaos that's unfolding, I've got a bit of a lighter moment on my mind. You've got to admit, when it comes to the whole Santa situation, we've taken a pretty relaxed approach in our house. My wife's Mexican Catholic background doesn't exactly connect with the idea of a naughty or nice list, so we treat Santa more as a fun Christmas symbol. I mean, we've even got a nacimiento set up in the living room to honor the Noche Buena traditions. But enter Jenny, and now we're dealing with a whole different story. She's got a lot of energy and enthusiasm behind the Christmas spirit, and her Elf on the Shelf is becoming a bigger priority for her kids than I would have even imagined. To be honest, I'm a bit amused by the way things have developed. I mean, who wouldn't be a little intimidated by a whole troop of elves supposedly watching the kids' every move? The thing that's getting to me is Jenny's desire for all the kids to play along with her storyline. I get it. She's trying to create that special holiday experience for her own kids, and I'm happy to accommodate her. But when it comes to coordinating all those different ages and personalities, I'm a bit skeptical. It's not like we're trying to create some faux holiday narrative here. We're just trying to celebrate and spend quality time with the people we love. As Mike and my mom weighing in and telling me that I should push for the whole Santa production, I'm starting to feel a bit of pressure. But honestly, I'm still unsure about how much I want to play along or commit to this whole Jenny-led Santa adventure. Here's where it gets even better. And by better, I mean worse. My brother Mike is now backing Jenny's demands. And guess what? My mom has jumped on that bandwagon too. They're telling me that having alcohol around children is unnecessary. I mean, I have 2 kids of my own who absolutely love our Christmas celebrations. I'm starting to feel the heat as my family members begin to weigh in on this situation. First, it's my brother Mike, the voice of reason, or so I thought. He's now backing Jenny's demands, and it's like I'm stuck trying to appease this new, more sensitive family member. I'm starting to wonder if I'm the only one who sees this as a compromise. To make matters worse, my mom has jumped on the bandwagon too. She's telling me that having alcohol around children is unnecessary. I get it, I really do. She wants everyone to be happy, and she's worried about setting a good example. But what about our family traditions? What about the fact that our house has always been a welcoming, inclusive space? It's frustrating to see my loved ones get so caught up in the drama. I feel like I'm being pulled in every direction, with no one really listening to my perspective. My parents are trying to make peace, and my brother is trying to be reasonable, but we're all forgetting one crucial thing. This is my home, and I have every right to set the tone. I love my family, and I'm grateful for their love and support. But right now, I feel like I'm being pressured into changing who we are as a family. It's like we're sacrificing something that's truly special and unique just to make one person happy. And honestly, it's exhausting. As I continue to navigate this sticky situation, I'm starting to realize that I may be the only one who truly cares about preserving our family traditions. It's a scary thought, but it's also a liberating one. I'm the one who gets to make the decisions about my home and my family's values. I'm the one who gets to set the tone for our holiday celebrations. But what if I'm wrong? What if Jenny is right, and we do need to change our ways to accommodate our growing family. The uncertainty is overwhelming, but I know this. I'll be true to myself, my family, and our values. We'll find a way to navigate this delicate situation and come out stronger on the other side. Speaking of the kids, let me tell you about how they actually experience our Christmas. My children, along with their cousins, absolutely thrive in this environment. They run around playing together, learning about different traditions, helping make tamales, and experiencing this beautiful blend of cultures firsthand. They're not traumatized by adults having a responsible drink. They're too busy having the time of their lives. Growing up, Christmas feels like the most magical time of the year. It's that one day where everything is sparkly and bright, and all the adults get to take the time off to be with the kids. My parents rarely drink at home, but during Christmas, they like to let their hair down and have a good time. They say it's their one day to unwind and forget about all their worries. To me, Christmas is a time for giving and sharing. It's a day when my family and I get to spend quality time together, exchange gifts, and share a delicious meal. My siblings and I look forward to it all year long. Not because of the possibility of getting presents, although that's pretty exciting too, but because Christmas is a time when we get to enjoy each other's company. I know my younger siblings are still quite young. They don't really understand why some grown-ups might think Christmas is problematic. But I do, because I've heard some of my friends' stories. Their parents seem to think that drinking is ruining Christmas. I get where they're coming from. It can be a bit embarrassing when your parents make a scene. However, that's never happened in my family. In fact, my parents make sure to keep things relatively tame. When you're a kid, you want to make new memories with your family, not associate Christmas with alcohol. My siblings and I are still learning and understanding the concept of taking responsibility for our actions. So, it would be nice to keep things as relaxed and as inexpensive as possible. For me, the idea of Christmas is all about creating special moments with loved ones that will last a lifetime. When it comes to deciding what traditions and customs to uphold, every choice I make is designed to foster a sense of warmth, togetherness, and precious memories. As I grew up, I remember my family always having alcohol present at our gatherings. My parents would host dinner parties where we'd all gather around the table to share stories and laughter, with a few glasses of wine or beer available for the adults. Looking back, it was those subtle touches that made the evenings feel even more magical. However, as I started planning my own Christmas celebrations with my partner, the decision of whether to allow alcohol on our holiday table raised a bit of a conundrum. It's hard to navigate opinions, especially when family and friends might have different expectations. Ultimately, my approach to hosting is centered around making memories, not imposing rules. So, rather than outright banning alcohol, I'd like to think of how we can balance this aspect with the spirit of the occasion. That way, everyone feels welcome and included, regardless of their drinking preferences. In my eyes, Christmas is like any other day. It's not some magical time reserved only for grown-ups. I believe that everyone in the family should have a chance to join in and enjoy the celebrations, regardless of age. I don't see any problem with continuing the tradition of having a glass of sherry at Christmas. As someone who's adamant about not banning alcohol from Christmas, I remind myself that it's just another day. I wake up like any other morning. No champagne toast or midnight revelry to prepare for. I just roll out of bed, stumble to the kitchen, and prepare myself a bowl of cereal. Or not. Maybe I'll just hit the snooze button a few more times, because why rush, right? I think to myself, today's going to be a normal day, but my subconscious promptly hates me for it. It's Christmas, after all. The day is supposed to be anything but normal. I tell myself that it's just an excuse to enjoy one more rum and eggnog, or 2 or 3. Festive season or not, I still put in a solid 8 hours of work, making spreadsheets and crunching numbers, much like I would on any other day. My family and friends look at me like I'm crazy for not getting into the holiday spirit. It's Christmas, they remind me at every turn. Loosen up, let loose, just a couple of glasses won't kill you. But I just shrug and focus on my deadlines. My colleagues start exchanging handmade gifts and decorating the office, but I just don't see the point. I'm not going to make an effort when I'm not even feeling the holiday cheer. The day gets a little lonely, but hey, at least my hangover in the new year will be predictable. Now, I'm not completely unreasonable. I suggested that maybe next year, my mom could host or Mike and Jenny could host, if they're still together. Hey, just being realistic here. But changing our entire family tradition in our house just doesn't make sense. I'm not a Grinch, but I do think differently when it comes to alcohol at Christmas gatherings. Refusing to ban booze might sound like a recipe for disaster, but hear me out. As the host with the most, I want my guests to feel comfortable, relaxed, and dare I say it, a little drunk. By allowing adult beverages, I'm setting the tone for a fun and festive atmosphere. It's not about promoting excessive alcohol consumption, but about creating a welcoming space for friends and family to let their hair down. Besides, research shows that moderate drinking can even bring people closer together. Who knew being tipsy could be the key to stronger social bonds? Now you might be thinking, but what about the kids, or your Aunt Mary for that matter? Don't worry, I've got a handle on that too. I've made sure to have plenty of soda, juice, and water on hand, just in case. Heck, I might even try to sneak in some festive mocktails for good measure. In the end, it's all about finding a balance that works for everyone. I'm not looking to ruin the holiday season. I just want to make sure everyone has an amazing time, underscore with or without the alcohol. Look, sometimes being the bad guy means standing up for what you believe in. Our Christmas celebration isn't just about the drinks or the food. It's about two families coming together, celebrating our shared traditions, and creating memories that last a lifetime. If you've ever had to deal with family drama during the holidays, smash that subscribe button because trust me, you're not alone in this. Drop a tamale in the comments if you think I'm right to stand my ground, or a candy cane if you think Jenny's got a point. And hey, if you're curious about what a Mexican-American Christmas really looks like, check out my video on how to survive your first Mexican family Christmas. Link in the description below. Until next time, remember, family traditions are worth fighting for, even if it means some awkward conversations around the Christmas dinner table.